Hey folks, welcome back. This is Ben from eXplorminate, and this is episode 17 of our Let's Play series of Shadow Empire. I've noticed in my pre-recording check that we are 1, very low on credits. 2, we have a potential solve for this problem because we now have a large excess of food, and this excess of food has been gifted to us by our acquisition of Nosemon, and this is a agri-farm, a level 2 agri-farm, and we are currently supplying it with probably just enough. Oh, it's a little bit low, but we're actually getting just enough supply in there that we can start producing food and picking it up. That's why we've got this. I mean, last term we were struggling, but now we're starting to get lots and lots of food. So since we can only store about 6,500, I think I'm going to trade a little bit. Now, it's good to get a stockpile of food, so I don't want to trade it all. However, if we look in our treasury cash flow overview, we are currently running at a bit of a deficit. So we're about, I think it's 260 credits lower than we need to be with regards to balance our books, right? 183 credits of revenue, 540 credits of expenses. Okay. So what we want to be doing is going into trade, checking what the price is on food, what we can get for it if we're buying it. Sorry, if we're selling. We get 0.65 credits. That ain't too bad. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sell 1 turn's worth of this food. I'm fairly convinced that we're going to be getting this every turn. And let's just sell 1,000 food, which is basically what we're making we made this turn. That's going to give us a little bit of money to play with. Now, we've got 1,000 now, so if we're running a deficit of, sort of around 300, whatever it was, we can survive a few turns. I think last turn I also went in and changed some of it wasn't the last turn, but it was one of the previous turns. We stopped giving money to our zones in public investment. There we go, like the investment budget. Oh, this might be what we gave in there. Well, anyway, so what we need to do is just ensure that this cash flow stays like this. It's quite possible that it was an issue with money that was causing my my issue with the food transportation. Okay, I'd like to play this turn these turns relatively quick, because I've done a lot of talking, and I think it's important now that we start getting some playing done, because I know there are some people who are watching this because they kind of want to see how where the story goes. So let's roll the turn on. There's not really a lot more I can do here. So if I remember right, what I wanted to be doing was to beat the Morbihan Commune in the rush for the territory to our west and to their south, I guess. They will be chasing the non-aligned forces through that territory, and if we're not careful, we don't cut them off, they will start taking our territory. Since we don't really want to go to war with the Morbihan Commune yet, anyway. We need to get on with that quickly. That's a mission that's got to be dealt with sooner rather than later. If we leave it a few turns, we might well find that we've got a larger border with the Morbihan Commune closer to Jura than we actually want. Okay, we've discovered a new tech, water soil recomposition. As you might well know, there is quite a lot of oxygen as well as hydrogen stored in the lithosphere of our planet. We have ideas on how to liberate those elements to create water. So this is getting water from rocks. We discovered a new tech, combat armor. This is a good tech. It occurred to us that it might be a good idea to start designing a suit that acts as real armor. If we research this, we'd be able to field some very hard to kill infantry models, and that is true. Combat armor, I think it gives you 25 millimeters of armor on your troopers, which means that small arms fire just isn't going to cut the mustard anymore. It will, but it won't be so good. Excuse me. So we got a few more stratagems. Hero of the nation. Okay, so you can make one of your leaders a national hero. Okay, that's pretty cool. I don't think I've seen that one before. Okay, so we've got some units with low supply. That's fine. Let's just dismiss that. And soldier morale Okay, so they're suggesting that we raise the that we raise the salary of our soldiers, but we really can't afford to do that right now. We need to be making more money first. One of the ways that we can address this issue is if we go to zones, and not in zones, it might be in the Empire dashboard. Well, either way, we just want to look to see which of our zones are incorporated and which aren't. We can just do that by looking here. Okay, so Iceron isn't incorporated, but we can't incorporate that yet. Jura isn't incorporated either. However, we've got extra high loyalty, or happiness, sorry, and the worker loyalty or work happiness is above par. So we can afford to incorporate these guys now. So what that means is we really bring them into our fold with regards to our culture, tying them to us financially, being able to tax them most importantly. So we'll add to. We're just going to go into the talk to the governor and go to zone orders. This costs us a couple of political points, and we're going to incorporate the zone. So zone occupied incorporated. We just click on regular zone. There we go. And that's that. So I think pretty much everything else. We've got a lot of workers. I would like to raise the worker salary to put their happiness up, but we can't afford to right now. We're still getting plenty of recruits. I might just drop the recruit bonus just a touch. No, I'll leave it. I'll leave it because recruits are important. Okay, let's check out the rest of the decisions. Zircon Lord wants change in propaganda. This is the governor of Jura. Let's just have a look at our society feats. Yeah, I mean we're not doing good on democracy or on meritocracy, and they're really important to have. I mean, the early, sorry, that's the wrong screen. The early technologies, or sorry, the early regime feats in meritocracy and democracy are really important. This one is political bonus plus 40, and this one is plus 30 to your diplomacy rolls. It's really important to get these up. So I think we're going to go for democracy here. I think that's a good one to go for. Justice Knights demand that you hire their candidate. How many people have we got? Let's just go to overviews and personnel overview. Okay. We've got 2 reserve pool members. Neither of them are particularly any good. Yeah, he's okay. They're not going to be. Yeah, they're not that useful. It might be worth just taking one more. Mind you, which is the JK faction? We have to be a bit careful about raising the factions that are opposed to the things that we want. Well, they're quite a strong faction. 22% of the vote. Their happiness is only 59. We should probably. We don't want to upset them, so let's take this. You've got to be careful not to anger one of the factions too much, because there can be negative consequences to that. Now, our current research target is a high-speed machine gun. We'll stick with that. We'll finish that quickly, and then we'll get ourselves the combat armor next. I'm not planning on being in any serious combats yet. Nothing that will require. Oh gosh, these guys are well out of supply. Well, that was relatively predictable since we've not got any. We don't have any roads. Let's start building some roads. Oh, mind you, we really don't have much in the way of industrial points here. So, how much is this going to cost? 700. There we go. We're going to go this way instead. Okay. So we've just moved them through the plains there. This buggy is going to have to try and get back a little bit. Let's just see how much. Yeah, we're going to get enough down here that we should be able to fuel these guys. Okay, so we're pushed up against the Morbihan Commune. I want to enforce our border with Morbihan here. They've got a hex perk there. What's that? Oh, that's a derelict spaceship. 100 bonus research points. This is these guys. I've been a bit silly there. I've moved them well out of supply. don't know if we're going to be able to... Okay, that's another 96. 48. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, that should be fine. Just bearing in mind we can actually turn on the hexes 4, 5. That should be fine. They should be able to pick up some supply there. Now the tanks aren't any good whatsoever at scouting. What they are good at is fighting, so we'll move them down a little way. They've got plenty of supply for now. We'll just try and keep these guys within... Yeah, we can't quite reach Stormy Foam. That's a shame. And we've grabbed Azure Terminal. So now we are going to be getting more... You'll notice next turn that we'll have extra energy. We can't rely on that energy lasting that long. We will need to build more buildings that are going to take energy. So things like barracks and universities and that kind of thing, they all start taking money. Sorry, they all start taking energy. Do we need this group down here, this motorized infantry group? Also this area here, look. And I'd like to get these ruins anyway. Let's go and take those anyway. And then let's move the rest of them down. We don't want to be too far out of supply. Okay. See how fast they are. Now, I know there's an argument that says that basically motorized infantry aren't that great because they take so much in the way. They take so many men to raise, but they are still useful. They are situationally useful, I should say. They're not something that you want to be building a lot of, unless you have a large excess of manpower. And a large excess of manpower isn't something that generally defines this game, I've got to say. Okay. Let's move these buggies out so we can get some recon on Morbihan itself. As far as our northern situation is concerned, let's see if we can take... Oh! We have been ambushed. We didn't even see what it was. They were that well hidden. Let's try and get some more eyes on the situation. We've now run out of... We have actually run out of industrial points this turn. So we can't build any more roads. These guys are going to run out of supply, so... Yeah, let's try and get these guys up as quickly as possible. Got a fair force up here now. They're not great troops, but they'll do for the time being. These walkers. Now walkers, what are they? There are several different kinds. Excuse me. There are several different kinds. There seem to be there's light walkers and heavy walkers, at least that I've seen in the game so far. There are also the ancient walkers, which is basically what these ones are, and these sentinels. Oh no, these sentinels are the Galactic Republic models, but the sentinels are these are a light walker. Now, sentinels get walkers get a bonus in combat against tanks. And it's something to do with their relative height difference. Sentinels are just designed to take out tanks. They can carry quite heavy weapons. The guns that they're based on. I mean, I think these ones are using lasers by the looks of it, but I'm not quite sure. But the standard walkers that you build before you get laser guns, they have a 50mm round on them. I think it's 50mm. So they can actually penetrate armor, and most importantly. I don't know if you remember the Metal Gear games and Metal Gear Solid and that, but they're built like they are in Metal Gear Solid. They're a walking battle tank. Now they don't have the nuclear armed capabilities of the ones in Metal Gear Solid, but they are designed to go through rough terrain. So they can traverse rough terrain much like infantry can, and they can also utilize some of the defensive modifiers that you get from rough terrain. So the tanks suffer terribly in mountains, whereas walkers don't. So that's why they're useful. And some of these maps, I mean, look, let's just pretend that this science vessel here is Morbihan Commune, and let's say that's our city. If you've got a large amount of mountains in between two places where you're fighting a war, tanks are going to be useless. It's all going to be about infantry, and infantry suffer in the attack. They have a big penalty to attack bonuses. So you really want to you want to use walkers when you've got to get through mountainous terrain. They're just really useful for that. Okay, I did say I was going to try and play this a little bit more quickly now, so I'm going to try and stick to that. Richter Snow. Don't have many men, but I'd actually like to get. I'd like to get a few men guarding Richter Snow. Actually, well, we really don't have. Oh, it's because we don't have much in the way of industrial points. So I'll leave that to that turn. It's not a good idea to leave no garrison, and the reason being is even if you've got a decent amount of militia points, which we haven't, militia points will mean that you'll get randomly spawning militia, but you do want some garrison. You never know when there's a riot that's going to crack off. Okay, I'm going to carry on there. So let's have a look at our strat cards just quick. Nothing in the majors for any use. We could send some spies in. Let's send a couple of spies into Morbihan. Got Bloodshire there. Let's send some. Oh wow, difficulty's quite high. No, we failed. I might try one more time. Let's just try and send one spy in. There, we got one in. One spy. Look, it's difficulty 42. It's much more difficult to get 3 in, and to get 6 in, it's very difficult. I might just try this one more time. No, I failed. If you get a critical failure, by the way, you'll take a big hit to your diplomacy. So you've got to be really careful with that. Okay, where are these guys going? Who are they? Oh, they're the 1st Independent Infantry Battalion. I think I'm going to send those guys back to use as a garrison. Oh no, mind you, they might be useful just travelling down here just to roll back some of this. Roll back some of that. If there's only 200 men, maybe I'll replenish them. Oh, we've got... Now we have GI Mark 4. What's special about those guys? Let's just compare the models. Oh, hang on a minute. Let's just we'll sort them by name, then we can see. So GI3, GI4. Okay, so they've got a higher soft attack, higher soft defense, automatic rifle, and a padded envirosuit. What are these guys? I know a better way of looking at this. There's all sorts of ways you can get at the information in this, by the way. If we go to model, here we go. Now we've got. Okay, so their combat, they've got better combat, their combat rating is higher, and that's because they've been given assault rifles. Right, so I'm going to keep these guys as regulars. I could actually put them as high. Yeah, that's fine. The way that these ratings work is that I think I've explained this before, but you can set your formation so that they reject certain types. So, you know, if you've got, let's say you've got a garrison unit and you don't really care about the quality of the troops, any low quality troops you can gradually filter back into those units and filter high quality and elite units into the ones where they're most needed on the front line or for a special forces task force, something like this. Okay. Because we didn't have much in the way of industrial points, we are just going to roll the turn on. Yeah, I think it's this seems to be how the game can go, right? So there's an initial scrabble for taking as many of the minor regimes as you can and really pushing your borders out as far as you can go. And then eventually you will bump into a couple of AI factions. Okay, so we've increased our civilization level, that's good. We got a fake stratagem pack. Treasure hoard can be okay. That might be useful if we run out of materials again. It gives you a bunch of metal, and oil and that kind of stuff. Ancient archive gives you a free tech. I've got quite a lot of fate points now, so it's wise to start looking at what we can spend them on. Labor Day would increase the level of the workers, happiness of workers. I don't like spending fate points on stuff like that, actually. This guy's good. You can build a casino in one of your zones, and if you've already got one, he upgrades the level. I do like the where are we? The one we just picked up. It's not in zones. It must be a nation one. The ancient archive. There we go. This gives you a free tech, but it's random, so it might give us, you know, a low level one which we could easily research. But I'm going to go for it. We found the knowledge to use atomic fusion missile. Well, this isn't a technology that's going to help us anytime soon, I've got to tell you. It's right at the bottom in fusion atomics. Allows you to construct fusion missile launchers that can launch more devastating missiles than atomic missile launchers. This is an end game tech. And, you know, might be useful for breaking some kind of detente situation that you might have. Detente, I'm not sure how you say that. So, you know, if you've got a standoff and you just can't get into, you know, an enemy. You can't take an enemy zone, then just nuke it. I think that's the thought behind that one. Okay. Before I get carried away, let's have a look at our decisions. There's only one this turn. This is just a priority to the Secret Service Council. I'll just leave that as it is. I should have used keep it as it is. I don't think it really matters. Let's try and push these back as far as Morbihan Commune. If we can... Oh, look, they've got this spur of their territory out, just much like we have with them. Okay, that's no problem. These guys are... Oh, they have picked up some... They have picked up some supply, look. Let's just have a look. Use points. Yeah, they did manage to get a few. That's probably because they've got buggies, so they can pick up supplies easier. Well, either way, let's get them back. We don't want to... Let's move them back a little bit. We don't want them to run out of food, particularly, or fuel. If they run out of fuel, they can't move. Okay, we've got Stormy Ferry. This is one of our missions now complete. It's going to be very difficult for us to get into these mountains, so we can do it with these motorized infantry. Oh, we've also got ourselves quite a large free folk settlement. So there's like 16,000 men in that one. 16,000 able-bodied men and women. There we go. Okay, I feel a little bit better now. We have taken as much of this territory as we can. Although I don't know where Morbihan their boundaries lie. I think it's here. That's where it's telling us their boundaries lie. I don't know who that is, but they can and will push down this way and then into my territory that way, unless I do something specifically to stop them. So I do need to continue taking this territory. Now, this Azure terminal is not safe. That is non-aligned zone. That's non-aligned force zone, and very likely somebody will come and just take this. So we do need to bear that in mind. Okay. This infantry group. Let's group move these guys up to. I think I'll put them. I'm gonna threaten Morbihan with them. I think I'll place them. I'll place these dedicated infantry units around here. Sorry, these regular units around here. And I wasn't expecting to take this farm, but it's been quite useful. So, I mean, this area of land is actually quite important to us now. We do need to fortify it. It's just a shame that there's no zone here. This is the surrounding area for Morbihan. So until we can take Morbihan, there's, you know, it's going to be quite hard for us to populate this. We could start building our own a new settlement. We just don't have the colonists for it, and honestly, it's so difficult to get them running. It's a real mission. Yeah, these guys are just going to have to catch up. Leave the rest of those there. Oh, we've got enough men now to man the trucks in this particular unit. So let's just replenish some more troops. What do we need? We need 2 more haulers, 20 more haulers. Sorry, we can't do it from here. And then 400 infantry. So where are the haulers? Okay, so it's just that we didn't have enough transport to pick them up. I might just go and manually get closer to Richter Snow so we can go and get them fast. Try and get those up to speed. We don't need them immediately. Okay, that's looking good. That's looking good for this turn. Now we still got this group up here, so let's start pushing these borders back. We need to spend some industrial points building roads, but the problem is these roads are going to be very expensive, well, relatively expensive, going through these dunes, so we're not going to be able to get them that far. You will in the early game, you will spend a lot of if you value your territorial expansion, which I do, you will be spending money on roads, and it's just the way that it goes, I'm afraid. Okay. I can't remember what our faction demands were. Okay, we got 3 rounds left to build our private assets up. We're currently at 26, so we do need to build. I don't know if we've got enough time to do it now, but we maybe we could build a barracks or a university or an equivalent structure. Excuse me a sec. All of a sudden it's warmed up. Okay. We killed 700 infantry. Okay, 4 decisions and 78 reports waiting for you. Oh, okay, right, now I understand. So, in the forums, I think it was Will Gamer was asking at the start of the turn. There's a when it says you've got XX amount of reports waiting. He was asking what that means, and he said none of the YouTubers he's seen have described that. Basically, I think it's just the reports in the report screen. So. I'll go into it after we've got through the vidcom. Well, I'll do it now. Look, so basically in the report screen, when it says you've got 78 reports, I think it is I think that's referring to just the number of reports that you've got altogether that have been updated. So there are dozens, there are dozens and dozens and dozens of reports. So there is going to be 78 of them, no doubt, in here. But for example, the vidcom mode. Now, this is actually everything in the vidcom mode is also in the letterbox, but there's stuff in the letterbox that's not in the vidcom. So let's just go through the vidcom first. So there's been elections, and the reformist army held, still entering the decade of revolution. Okay, so our private assets went up. That was good. We succeeded at that promise. We've created our howitzer, so that's our first artillery piece. Siege army infantry. Now that's an artillery based army, so that's infantrymen and artillery pieces in an army. Advancing troops found ancient and still functional weaponry near stormy foam in the zone's Euro. This allowed us to let our reserve recruits form 200 GR grade MG. That's good. Okay, and we've risen our civilization level, and fate stratagem pack awarded, and our tech level's gone up. So we've got loads more of these stratagems. Happy family. Okay, that might be interesting. Mother load, another ancient archive, Boomtown. Boomtown might be useful. I tell you what, Boomtown might be quite useful. Now, you know how I was saying that it's quite hard to get a city going? Well, Boomtown might help. Worker happiness endure is 69 points. We could increase it. Yeah, not now. We haven't got the money. I mean, I suppose we could use one of these stratagem cards to do so. Request that our bureaucratic assets reach 3 levels. I agree. We do need to do that. So I'm going to accept that one. New organisation option. So do we go for Interior Council, Applied Science? I'm going to go for Applied Science first, just to break the mold. My thoughts behind that is that if we get our research going sooner rather than later, the only thing is that the more councils that you've got, the more your money is diluted, or your research points are diluted, or your bureaucratic points are diluted. So we do need to build our bureaucracy up in order to fully support that. We've built an artillery model now, so let's go for a tank. And this early stage of the game, we're mostly going to be fighting against infantry. Now, so you've got two different types of high velocity gun, okay? You've got howitzers and you've got high velocities. High velocity guns are better against hard targets and howitzers are better against soft targets. It's that simple. Doesn't mean that howitzer guns can't damage tanks or high velocity guns can't damage infantry, because they can. They're just not suited for that job. Now, some light tank models can put a maximum of a 60mm howitzer gun on. So these things will be good for killing infantry, essentially. Now, since we're not going to be coming up against anything that's got anything more than probably combat armor for a while, I think the 40mm howitzer gun will be absolutely fine on light tanks. Now, the reason why I'm not just immediately loading the best stuff on it is just because of weight, and it really affects their maneuverability. Because we can't put anything on there that's too heavy. Steel armor is exceptionally heavy, and I'm going to go with 25mm steel plating. This will stop small rounds. It won't stop anti-tank stuff, but we don't want to be using tanks against anti-tank stuff anyway. And we'll put a medium diesel engine. These are quite light. These are very light tanks. They're really not that strong, but I probably won't use them at the start of the game anyway. Okay, Bloodshire is concerned about the unclear relations between us. Which one is Bloodshire? I think it's this way, isn't it? If we say no, they will invade us. So we need to have something down there. But by the same token, we don't want Morbihan Commune to take that land. So we do need to attack them here. They need to know their place. We're going to need some more. We're going to need some more men now, so that we can attack Bloodshire. So that's what these groups here will be. They're well out of supply, however, which is unsurprising. Yeah, they're well out of supply. So let's bring these guys. Ah, that wasn't a good idea. I was hoping that I could get just far enough. Let's build some roads down here. 96 industrial points. Okay. Yeah, okay. 1, 2, 3. I mean, we should just be able to get enough supply. The reason why I made that drastic move just then was because I needed to get, I needed to stop this land link between Morbihan Commune and the Bloodshire and any non-aligned forces. We found another major regime, the Saxon domain. Ah, okay. So let's have a look at these guys. Oh, well, they're not coming up. We've only just found them, so they're not coming up in our reports. So these guys are going to be our rivals, along with the Morbihan Commune. Be interesting to see who they are and what their personality type is. We were quite lucky with Morbihan Commune, even though they are actually acting quite aggressive. Oops, I don't want to be building those roads. I forgot to change my cursor mode. There we go. So let's move these tanks down. I'll just leave those where they are. We don't want to be out of supply. They're no good for exploring. Okay. Then we just need to take this area here. I might just move these a little bit just so we can. There we go. So we've secured. Well, we've nearly secured Azir Terminal there, which is what I want. Now I'm going to move these back. Morbihan Commune can take up to this area, but honestly, it's going to be. I mean, it would be nice to have this little area here, because when we do invade them, we can eventually just anything that's in here. If they try to use it as a way to attack us, which they probably won't, but we can cut them off quite easily. Actually, I'd like that. This looks like there might be. If there's not another zone down here, there's something. What are these assets? Metal mine and water purification. Interesting. Either way, we need to get some more supply, so let's move these guys back. Okay, in the north, we have now got supply. So let's start pushing these guys up. Now these militia units, if you remember, are really weak, and they're really weak. The initial militia just aren't strong at all. You'll notice our GIs are much more powerful. So we want to be relying on those guys when we're attacking. We've got no artillery. Let's just wait. They'll probably attack us. I'm actually interested just to see where that battle was. There it was. So, oh, those attacked my motorized infantry. We didn't lose anything. They the biped cavalry and nomad cavalry. Oh, no. So they're nomads. Okay. Awesome. So the Radulars were nomads. I wasn't sure about that. And now you'll see that these GIs are starting to fill up, and I think we've got our maximum amount of haulers too. Let's go to unit, just replenish troops. What do we need? We just need 400 infantrymen. So let's just oh, we'll leave it one more turn. They'll probably, if we just leave them here, they'll probably get them from Richter Snow. So we'll at least have one full strength unit. Because we've been pushing these borders, I know this is really what I need to be doing is building my industry up, because my industrial points is just poor. That 200 a turn is just no good. We need to push that. Needs to be several thousand really, so we can be on a decent war footing. But at the moment, getting territory is just so important. It's really, really important. If we don't take it, we might have a big booming industry, but we'll be locked into a certain area, and that's not good. Now, it would be nice to have another zone, and we did get this strategy card or stratagem called Boomtown. Now, Boomtown is a zone card, I think, probably. Yes, it will be. And what this gives you is 10d10 times 100 population. So somewhere between 1,000 and 10,000 population. That's a fair amount. That if you were to get a good roll on that, that would really help kickstart a small village, so that you could actually start mining it, mining out of the area around you, or mining food production, whatever it is that you're going to be using that particular zone for. At the moment, all of this area here is Richter Snow, and then on this side of this little border is Jura. Now Jura is over here. So I mean, this zone is just all, it's all technically a part of Jura, but ideally we want to take any zones that are around here and then integrate this area into those. Okay, there isn't a whole lot more we can do. We do need some ammunition, so let's build some of that.
Copy that.
I don't want to use too much. Now we could sell some more food. Yeah, we're not getting many credits for it now though.
Copy that.
But we are desperate for credits, so I'm going to do that. The price that we'll be getting for food will go down and down and down the more we flood the market with it. Despite the fact that this is a relatively inhospitable lava world, it's quite energy, there's plenty of energy to be had from these volcanoes, and we can use solar power. So growing food isn't really a big problem. Water might become more of a problem later, but it looks like these guys at least are starting to build water purification assets. So there are technologies that can help us get around that. Now, our own water supplies. Let's have a look how we're doing for water overall. There's a couple of ways we can do this. We can go into we'll check out the ice mines. Now it doesn't tell you here, I don't think, exactly how much is left. It's telling you how much we're producing. Look, 1,529 per turn. This is in Richter Snow. So what I would like to see, and forgive me if this is something that you can already do, but if I want to be able to click on here and then zoom on the map to wherever it is. That is a little quality of life thing that I would like to see in this game. I don't know if there's some way of doing it that I'm not aware of. But I'd like to be able to just instantly jump from this screen onto the map screen and then to where that area is. I think that would be nice. Let's just find it. It's this one here, Big Ocean. Now this is our ice mine. We've got 12,966 water left here. That's not a lot. That's really not a lot. So we need to start finding more water, or some way of generating water, you know, getting water. Let's see what we've got technology wise. Water soil recomposition. This will be the one. So this is an economic tech. It means that we can actually gain water from breaking down rocks. It's not going to give us much, but it will be better than nothing. So it's probably something that's going to take a lot of fuel or something, or or power. So we do have to be a little bit careful about that. But I don't think we've got much more water in this area. I don't see much. Every one of these games, every one of the planets that you play on in this game will have some kind of shortage, which I really like. I did think initially that I'd like even more shortages, because sometimes you just really want to play on this kind of Mad Max kind of world, where everything's really in short supply. One more thing we can do is we can look at trade, and we can see how much water is going for. So we can buy water here, 37 credits. We can sell it for, well, no, there's too much of it on the market. We are wasting water every turn. We're actually selling. We're losing 463. So one thing that we can do until we've got the ability to be able to store water is that we can go to Big Ocean, the ice mine here, and we can decide to set the production down to 75%. So we're not going to be losing so much. In fact, I'll probably just drop it down to 50%. We're still going to be paying full upkeep on it. So it's not efficient to do this. However, we don't want to be selling this water just for barely anything. We're not even selling it. We're just losing it. We're losing 463 a turn. And when you've only got 13,000 left, that's a lot. So we're wasting. I mean, I needed to keep an eye on this, but we need to drop our production on the water. I've got to the point now with this game where in planets like on the Seth planets, or any planets where you've got very little water, I immediately buy up any private assets that are creating water, and I will prevent them from selling off the excess water. For a start, I don't want my enemies to have water, and secondly, it's a waste. So the little amount of money that you gain for it, it's not worth the having to scrabble for water in the early game. Okay, what can we do with these? We might need them down here, so let's move this group down here. Hopefully we can get enough supply to these guys from here. If not, we can build some more roads. There we go, 72. So yep, and I think we're ready for the next turn. I'm probably going to play one more turn of this and then call it quits on the episode, and part of the reason is because no matter how much tea I drink at this point, my voice is going to hurt, because I've also been on Twitch tonight doing other things. So I've been sat here talking for a long time. I am intrigued to see what this second major faction is like. It's quite an exciting turn. Okay, so we've discovered mechanized artillery. We've got even more stratagem packs. Well, we've got loads of these stratagems now. That will be good. The gladiators arena, we can use that. The zoo projects we should be using too. In fact, I'm going to do that before we do anything else. Before I forget, let's go to the stratagem card, and we'll go to where are those zoo projects? That's a zone project, I believe. There we are. We've got 2 of those. They only cost 5. So these give you a zoo asset. So let's put one in Richter's Note. So we already had one, but we've upgraded it. And let's give one to Jura.
Yes, sir.
We already had one there too. Gladiator. Right, these ones I'm going to hold off on using. Motherlode. What does Motherlode give you? It gives you an ease of mining and a random mining asset. Okay. Okay. What else have we got? This is too hard to use right now. We won't pass that. Forced relocation is useful. The thing is, it gives you a lot of free folk. I mean, 5d20 times 100. Yeah, that's not bad. I am tempted to use this to get more tech again, to jump ahead in the technologies. But I think I'll do that now. We got university. Oh, that's good. I mean, we could have found that, we could have got that ourselves, but actually university, I mean, I think that was worth it. Illicit incident with illicit support to activists. Oh, what have you done? You douchebag. Okay, so we can reverse his decision, but it's going to upset him. But yeah, I could do that. And we're still going to get unrest, but that's okay. No, you've annoyed me. You're not getting any salary increases this turn. Right. Now we need a director for the Applied Science Council. God, these guys are all bad. We don't have any leaders either. I might have reduced spending too much with the Supreme Council. So let's go to our personnel and Simba Jackson. Let's give Simba Jackson a call. Oh, we're still getting quite a lot to general stratagems. I wonder why I'm not getting any more leaders. I'm going to leave that as it is. I don't want to mess with that. I got these two really bad leaders. She's got 22 on intel. He's got 30. This guy's a better combat. He'll be better as a zone, as an OHQ. So let's use her.
Aye, aye, sir.
And applied science. We're going to put some more into discovery first.
Aye, aye, sir.
Independent lab discovered in Richter Snow. Okay, so this gives it. We can get 100 bonus research bonus points every turn from a hex perk, or we can just enlist the scientists, and we'll get political points for that. I like these decisions. It's cool because it's like, you know, some 34 political points is a lot, but also 100 bonus research points every turn is also really useful. So I love the way that these decisions work in this game. They really do give you meaningful choices. I want the research points in this position, and I'd like to increase our commerce rating as well. I always forget what they're called. Okay, have these guys fully leveled up yet? No. Never mind. Let's move them out. Okay, so these guys are well out of supply, so I'm gonna bring those back to try and get close to a road. These definitely need to get back. Yeah, they've not even got much fuel, look, so everybody else, they can't get into these high mountains, look. So we are going to need infantry to get into here. Yep. Okay, that's just some militia and some GR era stuff. Okay, I think that what we need to do is we need to get another road down here now, so that we can start investigating this territory before this Sachsen domain get it. Now, now it's time to look at who they are. Where are we? Are we still? We've still not made contact with them. I think we might need to get some espionage in. So let's go to our covert ops, and let's see how much it costs. Sachsen, 83, but we've got a decent covert ops roll. Okay, critical success. We've got 2 in instead of 1. That's good. I wonder if we can get 3 in. No, that was a bad roll. I might try one more time. Yeah, okay, so we've got five spies in there now. That should be enough for us to be able to see the extent of their territory, I think. Or at least to get it, we'll get an idea of where their territory lies. It's going to be, because they're a major, unless they've come a cropper from Morbihan Commune. God, look at the size of their territory is huge, isn't it? It's better seen on the strategic map. There we go, look. Morbihan Commune have taken a lot of territory. Mind you, so have we. we do need to take one of these. We need to go to war with one of these guys now. It's just getting the logistics to go through these deserts. This game is wonderful for just showing you how difficult it is to operate in an area with these really difficult to reach or difficult to penetrate areas, like areas with, you know, desert or very, very thick, you know, like literally thousands of kilometers of these high mountains. And some of the maps generate with like 20-30% mountains, so you might get like 5 or 6 you know, mountain ranges, these great big spines that run through the map, and there might be 6 thick of these high mountains. It's so cool. It's such an awesome game, man. Okay, let's try and cut these guys off. Wow, they're really well dug in. And they're only free folk marauders, but mind you, we're just attacking them with really poor quality troops as well. And they've got a lot of them. Yeah, we're just going to have to... Let's just surround them and see if we can cut them off. I'm not sure if you can fully cut off militia raider units like that. Maybe using these walkers might be a wise move. Yeah. Yeah, maybe so. I feel sorry for the men of these militia units who've had to trek through. What's this? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. I mean, you know, they've gone through nearly 2,500 kilometers of jet desert. That can't be fun. They've had to do that on foot as well. It certainly does not pay to be a soldier in Shadow Empire, and it doesn't pay to be a soldier in the eXplormination either, because we just can't afford to pay our soldiers very well. I mean, as a result, look, our morale's not low, but it's not high either. It's 63 is not bad, but they can fight on 63, but really it's not very good. You want to get your morale as high as possible. It makes a big difference to the amount of money that to the combat performance you get out of them. Try and get these guys closer to Richter's node. They're going to be closer to the SHQ, which means they're probably going to have... Yeah, there's much more. Look, there's much more supply this way. 1, 2, 3, 4. I think I might put a supply base here. Yeah, we've got the assets to do it. Just as a reminder, the supply base will extend whatever supply that we've got at this particular location. In this case, 745 it's suggesting, and it will push that out at that level, at that rate, for another 4 spaces. And then if you do it level 2 base, I think it's 6 or 8, I forget which. So they are really useful. They just extend the range of your supply a long way. It's very critical. Okay. Let's get some more roads up here to get these guys some supply. Wow, that costs a lot to get into those steppe. Yeah, it's 120 a turn. Building and maintaining roads in deserts is a very, very expensive endeavour. Somebody was telling me that they want me to dig these artifacts out. Yes, I do too. The problem is that my economy can't really sustain much until I've started sorting out these issues. Notice that we're losing water now. That is as planned. I don't want to be wasting water every turn. Okay, guys, I'm going to end the turn here. We're nearly up to an hour, so it's a little bit longer than I'd like to have played for. But I've not played in I've not played in a couple of days, or at least I've not played much. So it's been fun to kind of catch up. Okay, let's move these guys down here before we end. Oops, that's the road again. Keep doing that. Alright. I'll leave those guys there. I think that's about it. We don't need to do much more now. Yep, I'm going to leave it there. Okay, thanks for watching, guys. I hope you're enjoying the series. Leave any comments in the comments section. Let me know how I'm doing. Take it easy. Bye.